move into our yoga exercises now. So if you're lying down, you can hug your knees and rock up. And we're all going to come around onto all fours. Just start with a nice stretch for our hips and our spine. So we'll bring our big toes together and our knees wide. So if you're listening in at home, just have a little bit of room around you. If you've not done yoga exercise before yet, usually we're in bare feet. Socks off ideally so we don't slip. All right, so knees out wide, breathing in. And then we're going to walk forward, resting either on our forearms or our arms out long. And just rest your head to the floor. And it's just a nice, easy a nice, easy stretch. So today's really about nourishing and relaxing and releasing. So if you want a little more stretch, you can bring your knees wider. If you want less stretch, knees closer. And just connect back with that yoga breathing we learnt. In through the nose, out through the nose. Thinking about each outward breath, releasing tension and tightness. Two more breaths. With all the sitting you guys would be doing as uni students, our hips get really, really tight. So every day, if possible, we should go through the full range of movement of all our joints, particularly our hips. They're the main pivot point for the rest of the body. All right, let's walk our hands back and our knees together. Come to all fours into tabletop. And we're going to round our spine to the sky, looking back to the belly. Press away from the ground. And then our second movement, we're going to lift our sit bones in our chest. Draw your shoulders back. Look forward. So exhale, round, arch your spine, cat pose. Inhale, lengthen forward into our cow pose. So again, just simple movements. This is working the whole length of the spine, loosening the whole spinal column. Massaging all the inner organs, great little massage, squeeze, detox. So keep going, rounding your back to the spine, to the ceiling for the full length of your exhale. Inhaling, lengthening forward for the full length of your inhale. Two more breaths. You can even try exhaling through the mouth if you're feeling particularly tense or tight. And then next time you inhale, spread your hands, tuck your toes, and let's come back into a downward dog. So swing the weight of your hips back to make an inverted V. Spread the weight of the hands, press into the base of the fingers. And then let's start to walk out the heels. So this might be one that if you are in socks, you notice you're slipping. So ideally we do bare feet straight on the sticky mat. Your hands, think of them like two big starfish. Spread them out wide, press into the base of the fingers, the whole circumference of your palm. Maybe now you can start swaying your waist a little side to side. Feel the stretch more in your lower back. Maybe you can lift high up onto the tiptoes and then let your heels lower down. They may or may not touch. People that can get their heels to the floor aren't any happier, so no one has anything to worry about. Beautiful. And then just hold for a few breaths in your downward dog. So now hold it as a static pose. Breathe in through the nose and maybe a big outward breath through the mouth. Breathing in, breathing out. Beautiful. Let's walk our hands up to our feet. Lift up to halfway. Make a nice right angle in your hips. Draw your shoulders down away. Breathe in here. And then exhale, fold forward. Let your head hang, gaze back between your knees. A couple of options with the arms. You can maybe hold your elbows. You can maybe interlace your hands behind your body and let the weight of the arms drape up and over. If you're feeling a bit stiff in the legs and you're not feeling much fold in your hips, try bending your knees. You want to get that nice stretch in the belly of the hamstring muscles. Each pose should feel comfortable, no strain, pressure or pain. All right, release the arms, bend your knees, slowly uncurl, big circle up with the arms, breathing in. Exhale, hands to the heart. We'll go through a couple of sun salutes where we add some poses together, flow a little bit with our breathing. It's a little bit more cardio, gets the energy circulating. So let's inhale, arms up. Exhale, float forward. Inhale, back to halfway. And then we're going to take a big step back with our right foot. Anchor your knee, untuck your toes, and let your hips lunge forward. So make sure you started at the top of your mat. Beautiful. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, let your hips soften forward. Let's take a couple of breaths here. And notice your knee, if it goes past your heel, say for example like that, shuffle your foot further forward. You want the knee directly over the heel. All right, back to our down dog. And then forward to plank, which you can do on the knees or the feet. And then let's lower down. Here we're zipping up our legs, hands under the shoulders, and we'll do a few spinal rolls. So inhale, stretch your sternum forward. You don't have to come up to straight arms. Exhale, roll back down. Inhale, peel up, feel the length and space in your lower back, no compression. Exhale, release. One more, we want our shoulders down away from our ears, not like gorillas, yogis. Release. Now push back up through your plank. Back to down dog. And down dog starts to feel a little bit like a rest pose, so hold your down dog for 3 breaths. Looking around, some people are quite stretchy in their down dogs. Make sure your shoulders are strong so you're not hyperextending into any joints. All right, in your down dog, bring your feet together. This is a little fancy option. If you'd like to, raise your right leg. Option 1, you're going to have your leg parallel to the floor. Option 2, you can point your toes up to the sky. Option 3, maybe drape the heel to the opposite hip. And we'll hold this one here for 3 breaths. If it feels a bit tricky, bend that standing knee. Take a big breath in here. And then step your right foot forward between your hands. If it doesn't make it all the way, help it forward, breathing in. Breathing out, soften. Couple of breaths here. If some people know options, I saw some people staying up off that back knee, that's fine if you know some other options. And then let's step to the top of our mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, slowly come up. We'll do the other side, so upright, little back bend. Let's go back down again, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your left foot back. 3 breaths here. Back to our downward dog. Float forward to plank, strong hands. Release to the ground. This time 1 breath in, cobra, or if you know upward dog, you can roll up to upward dog. Release. Push into the hands, lift your hips at the same time as your shoulders, strong core to transition. Feet together in your down dog, raise your left leg. Big step through, left foot forward. 3 breaths here. Soft little smile on the face, it just makes it much more enjoyable. Just everyone has a better time too when we're smiling. And release, step to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Slowly uncurl all the way up. Exhale, hands to the heart. So before you have a fidget or grab a drink of water, just close your eyes. Let your breath become deep again. So if you want to do more of them in your home practice, you can do up to, well, some traditions are to do 108. But usually about 5 or 10 is a good start, just to build some heat in the body, have a good cardio workout for our lungs and our heart, do all the joints, mobility for all the joints. All right, shake out a little, grab a sip of water if you need to, if your mouth's a bit dry. And let's come to the top of our mat. I'll just demonstrate front on, but at the top of our mat, feet hip width. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, join your elbows at shoulder height. Let's cross our right underneath our left and try to stack the elbows. And then we can either join the back of the hands or the inside of the hands. So our right is under our left. And try to lift your elbows and bring them away from your body, so a stretch for between the scapula. And then let's add in our legs a little bit. So we're sitting back into our chair pose. So in your chair pose, check you can see your big toe, your toes in front of your knees, so you're sitting back, not just down. Keep working the arms. Keep breathing. All right, we're going to shift our weight onto our right foot and then send our left leg back. So it can just be just off the floor, or you can start to lift it higher up to horizontal. Your standing knee can be a little bent or straight. Or maybe you can start to angle down to the floor, lifting the back foot higher up to the sky, and like a torpedo, the hands down out in front of you. Balance is one thing that our body starts to lose first as it ages, but it can be maintained with a bit of practice. Okay, back to both feet, sit into your chair pose. Breathing in, up onto the tiptoes. All right, so we're right reaching up nice and tall, looking straight out to the horizon. Find a focal point for your balance. Keep holding, just a nice simple challenge. Good stretch out for the feet, there was a few cracks. If you want a little bit more challenge, you can try eyes closed. Balance is very calming, and my joke, but it's probably actually a bit true, is that because when you're balancing, you can't think about anything else. All right, then stay up on your tiptoes, hands to your heart, and we're coming down into a little squat. A few more cracks. And they're young 20-year-old knees. All right, for the majority of you guys. All right, so keep your knees square, pointing forward, breathing in. And then exhale, a little twist to your right. Keep your hands lined up with your sternum. Back to the center, breathing in. Exhale, twist the other way. Feel those little micro adjustments, strengthening your ankles. Back to the center. Coming up onto the tiptoes again. And then flat feet. Let's have a little shake out. All right, inhale the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale with a sigh out loud, let them drop down. Pretty good, I give that about a 5. Let's try again, breathing in, breathing out. That was about an 8. One more. Let it all out. Very good. I just have to put up a shield because sometimes I feel it come flying at me. All right, so inhale the arms up. Bring the elbows together. This time we are doing right under left, or correct me if I'm wrong, just the opposite elbow on top. So left under right. Lucky I have my team, thanks guys. All right, so lift the elbows up. Draw the elbows away from you. And then we're sitting back into our seat. So if there's any pressure in your knees, it's probably because you're not sitting back enough. And if you're feeling like a challenge in the pose, try to sit parallel to the floor. Can't quite hear all that nice breathing anymore, so don't hold your breath. Also try not to lean over. Some people are a little bit like this. So we want to go down with our bottom, not our head. All right, we're going to balance on our left foot, send the right back. Start just lifting the leg a little, and then maybe we can come down horizontal. And then maybe we can angle a little further towards the floor. Just wherever's good for you. So comfortable movement where we can breathe and ease into it. If you're tensing, nothing's getting stretchier because it's tight. Back into your seat. Beautiful, up onto the tiptoes. Beautiful, hands to the heart. We'll try a different squat this time. So take your feet out to the edges of your mat. We're going to sit down into our yogi squat. Oh. That hurts. So if you're a little tight, maybe your heels are up and that's fine. But otherwise we want to try to get a little bit more open with our feet flat. Maybe today, maybe in a few months of regular practice. And then we also want to try to open our knees. So if we're tight, we feel a little horrible like this. So try to open up into it. A nice prop you could use, say you could roll up the end of your mat and it could be under your heels, or you could have a little rolled up towel under your heels if you want to practice this one at home. And this is another good one to counterbalance all our sitting. It keeps our hips flexible, it lengthens out our lower back. All right, let's extend our left arm nice and straight. And then inhale, twist around to your right. So you can gaze forward or up to the top hand. And then back to the center. Inhale here. And then let's twist to the other side. So open up the right knee, rotate to your left. This is great for our flexibility of our thoracic spine, our upper back, that area that gets sore and tight after a lot of sitting. Beautiful, back to the center. Shuffle your feet to hip width. Come back up onto the tiptoes. Beautiful, relax. Give everything a little jiggle. All right, place your feet out on the edges of your yoga mat. And then we're just going to do some Tai Chi swings side to side. So if I show you facing your direction, see how I let my back foot lift? So we don't want any twisting in the knees. And instead of being like a helicopter, so here, see how I look really tense? Try to be like wet spaghetti, just let them wrap around your waist. Just let it all go. If it was up to me, I'd probably do half an hour of this in every class. I reckon it just feels so good. And then slowly coming back to the center. If you close your eyes, maybe you notice a little bit of warmth and tingling in the hands. This is fresh circulation. All right, we're all going to face in on our mat. So face the long end of your mat, facing the center of the room. That's it. And line up your heels, turn your toes slightly in. Beautiful, so you're a little bit pigeon-toed, and the hands can be as wide apart, the feet rather can be as wide apart as the hands if you like. All right, so hands to the hips, a little back arch. Inhale, open, and then exhale, let's fold forward, coming down to that nice flat back. So imagine your spine like the arm of a clock, you've come down to 3 o'clock. If it's hard to make a nice straight 3 o'clock, bend your knees. Keep your head also up at 3 o'clock, the end of the clock, hands not hanging down. So a nice flat back, engage your core here. Now next is going to be our flex, a little test of our flexibility. So bend your knees if you find you can't go any further. So come down to 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and just stop where you can. Some people might be able to go right up to 8 o'clock. No, I'm joking. So just hang wherever it's comfortable, but bend your knees if you want to go further. And the hands can maybe hang and hold the elbows. Or maybe you'd like to interlace your hands behind your body and let them drape up and over. And just try to relax here. It's not a pose with a great deal of strength work involved. So just hang and soften. An inversion where our head is down beneath our heart. It's very calming. It lowers our heart rate and our blood pressure. Two more breaths. And then release your arms. Pivot on your feet to face the front. Step back to downward dog. We're going to do a crowd favorite, or maybe not favorite. This is a great one for our hips, pigeon pose, so feet together. Raise your left leg high to the sky. Now if you need to, come from all fours, otherwise you can be fancy from here. We're going to slide that left knee to the inside of our left hand. That's it. And then slide the right leg back. And we want to try to center off our hips. Some people tend to roll a little bit to the left. If that's happening for you, just tuck the heel in more. So square your hips. Here we're going to inhale. And then exhale, roll your spine down. So inhale, uncurl. And exhale, roll down. So just getting the breath really connected with our body. One more. Breathing in. And breathing out. This time we're resting down here either on folded hands or extend your arms out long. Keep holding here. If it's a little too strong, just shuffle your left foot back under your hip more. Or if you want more stretch, shuffle your left foot up towards the right corner of your mat. We should be feeling the stretch in the back of our left hip. Maybe another nice takeaway from our practice today, if you already have sort of a routine for the gym or your own personal exercise regime, you should definitely be stretching at the end, even just a handful of stretches. Your mobility will help all other areas of your physical fitness. 3 more breaths. All right, let's walk our hands back up. Tuck under your back toes. Now I'll show you a fancy option because I can see some people here have done a bit of yoga before. So just a fancy option. Tuck under the back toes. We can maybe all swing back to that 3-legged dog with our left leg lifted. And then maybe if you can swing that hip up and over, you can find the floor behind you with the ball of your left foot. Rotate on the right foot so your hips are open to the sky and open up to our star pose. So I'll have a little look. Pretty good. Some people get points for creativity, but I like that too. All right, engage your core, come back over to downward dog, and you can rest there or you can rest in child pose. All right, then we'll do that little sequence on the other leg, so downward dog, feet together. Raise your right leg high to the sky. Slide that right knee between the hands a little closer to the right side. And if you want more stretch, you shuffle that foot forward. So square off your hips, breathing in. Exhale, roll forward. Inhale, roll up. So just find a nice position of your hips where you can just glide in and out with your breath. And then this next time, come down and rest on folded arms or straight. Keep holding. Where you're feeling the stretch, try to direct your breath there, like it has its own set of lungs. Feel that space open with your breath in. Feel that space relax or release with your breath out. Two more breaths. All right, curl under your back toes, downward dog. Maybe sending that right leg up for a variation of our three-legged dog, or maybe rolling that right hip way over. Find the floor with the ball of the right foot. Point, left leg straight. Open up. Very nice. Engage your core, roll back over. And let's come to where we started. Big toes together, knees wide. Breathing in and come forward and rest. And maybe here for a moment, let's come back to that original work we were doing in the coaching book. Visualize yourself in your most balanced state. In all those different areas we discussed, from the physical to the spiritual. How does that feel? And remember why it was important to you. And maybe set yourself one call to action from the session today that's going to contribute to this ultimate state of balance. All right, let's walk our hands back and we'll lie around onto our backs. We'll have a few minutes of relaxation to end our practice today. So lying down, everyone's like, yes.